Brandon Ayuk needs to be force-fed 15 targets.
Yeah, but that's why Dallas is at home. Balanced attacks are what's going to help you
But
win.
no, they had CeeDee Lamb running some garbage routes in that game against. They didn't come ready to play, but for the most part during the regular season, yes. In a game like that, you know what? I got to ice. You just heard Baldy.
Well, that's what
I didn't see enough creativity for Brandon Ayuk.
No, that I agree with. Which again, it felt like it was the Debo game plan, and then when Debo goes down, they were like stuck. They were in no man's land. The bigger thing for me is that, and I'm just going off the tone of Baldy. Baldy is unemotional when it comes to each team, right? Yeah, he's friends with Lane Johnson. He's got a soft spot in his heart for the Baltimore Ravens, but he doesn't root. I felt like he truly loved watching Brock Purdy play football for the longest time. He was maybe his biggest fan. He believed before I believed, I admit it, and he helped win me over as well as Brock winning me over. And just you have to tap out when you have an unbelievable season like he had this year. He was unbelievable. But when I'm listening to Baldy, who is as big of a Brock Purdy fan going back to last year as anyone I know, when I'm going with my own eyes and I'm starting to like lose, I don't know, and I'm listening to Baldy talk, the big game gene, I don't know about that. I don't know. But in terms of like seeing the field and being inaccurate, it's inarguable. He didn't have a great game until the end. And I don't think he was as impressed with the final fourth quarter as maybe a lot of people online have been.
Well, so you missed the show. You're out with the new baby, LJ. Shout out LJ. Baby LJ.
I missed a lot of time lately, and I apologize.
So, why are you apologizing for missing time?
Because I like being in.
No, you don't need to apologize to
straw.
nobody. Stop apologizing. Sure, you're the straw. Spinoni was here for you. It was before the Baltimore game. And we started talking MVP. You remember this, Spinoni? I think Spinoni asked a question, actually. Brock Purdy, MVP. Is it sealed? Is it? And Baldy said, I need to wait on that. I need to see what happens against Baltimore. And the way he said that, it was like, wait a minute, Baldy, you've been hyping up Brock. You've been saying. But it was the week of the Baltimore game where he said, this is the game I need to see him play well. And if he plays well this game, sure, fine, you're the MVP, whatever. But I need to see it. I'm going to hold my reservation for the Baltimore game. And in the Baltimore game, Christmas night, Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions. It could have easily been 7 interceptions. Like, I'm not even being hyperbolic here.
No.
It could have been 7 interceptions.
No.
And ever since that game, Baldy said, oh, boy, these are the type of defenses you're going to have to see in the playoffs. I need to reserve judgment on Brock Purdy. So he has not gotten over that Baltimore game. Well, it's safe to say that. That Baltimore game did a lot to Baldy and it did a lot to our fans. He threw 4 picks in the game, all right? But 4 picks, and it could have been 7.
No doubt. The big game gene thing, like where you talking about big games, isn't part of why Troy Aikman is held in high regard.
Yeah, I love Troy Aikman for that. Big games. I know a lot of people
not for his regular season accomplishments.
I know a lot of people think he's overrated, but I think Troy Aikman is one of the best quarterbacks I've seen. He's in my top 10 personally. Me growing up watching football up until today, Troy Aikman's in my top 10.
All right. I don't think Eli Manning is even sniffing the top 15 players of all time at the position.
Yep.
Why is he, highly regarded? Some of the big games that he played in. When I look at Patrick Mahomes, in a big game, does he ever step down? No. Why is Joe Burrow considered such an elite player? Because he outdueled Mahomes in those one-on-ones in the big games, right? The big games they matter. They matter a lot. And when I asked him, like, who do you trust in this big game? And he went, Jared Goff.
Well, let's hear it. Wait, hold on. Let's play it.
I would say Jared Goff, just because of his experience. Just of his experience, and I think the overall offensive line play, and how they play, and who those guys are up front. I mean, they got an all-pro, first-team all-pro center and right tackle. The left tackle has been in this league for a decade. Glasgow is just a warrior.
Yep.
Like that group up front is really, really good. He might be the best in all of football right now. So, and they protect Jared Goff like he's their guy. So I would say just because Goff has been there, he's been to a Super Bowl, he's been in the playoffs. Just his mentality, it never really changes. I'd probably trust Goff more right now.
So he trusts Goff more right now. And it's very interesting he said that. Which, it doesn't surprise me he said that.
It surprised me.
No, it's not surprising to me.
Why?
We just had this conversation last week. We talked about the 4 A-to-C quarterbacks. And last Tuesday, people thought I was going for a narrative or some hot takes. And last week I said, out of the 4 A-to-C quarterbacks, who are you taking off the board first, second, third, fourth? And then we talked about Jared Goff. And I said, Jared Goff has proven a lot more in the playoffs than Brock Purdy. You pass some pushback, and I get it. I get it because of the Goff's failures. But he has been in a and McVay.
And McVay, the way McVay publicly criticized him, which was so unique, that's all.
He threw him under the bus.
Yes, he did.
But I tried to mention this, and he actually did lead a team to a Super Bowl without Todd Gurley as his running back who got hurt. And they had C.J. Anderson, who they just picked up off the street. And they played Belichick and Brady. And Belichick's one of the greatest minds, if not the greatest defensive mind that this game has ever seen. And they were in that football game for the most part. They were. Goff was young, inexperienced, but he did lead a team into the Superdome to get to that point to the Super Bowl.
It's true.
And he's played a lot of playoff games, and he's won a lot of big games. So that's why it doesn't surprise me with a guy like Baldy, because there's no hate on Brock Purdy. He just doesn't have experience. Goff has been around the block a couple times. He's failed. He's been kicked. He's got sent to Detroit, and they thought, oh, boy, Goff's career is over. He's going to Detroit.
Well, but what about reaching the NFC Championship game in back-to-back years?
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Okay. So it's just basically winning the NFC Championship game is a differentiator?
No, it's not just that. It's not just that
it's
simple.
impressive to take two different teams there.
Two different teams. And Goff grew with that Rams team.
Yeah, and that Detroit team.
And that Detroit team. And he's put up some numbers for the Rams and the Lions. Now, also, Brock Purdy, sure, he got the back-to-back NFC Championship games, but how well did he play that Dallas game? The tone that we have about Brock Purdy right now was very similar to the tone we had about Brock Purdy after the Dallas game. He didn't play well for 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, he showed up in money time, which he gets credit for. You showed up in the biggest moment, and you helped lead the team to the victory. But for 3 quarters of football against Dallas and against Green Bay, Brock Purdy was very, very average. And I'm being kind by saying that.
Okay, so was the Seattle playoff game a big game?
It was a huge game.
Okay, he gets
great. Credit for that.
He looked great in the second half.
He did look great against Dallas, right?
Was the Philly? Yeah, was the Philly? No, he didn't, and he didn't the following week. Was the Philly game a big game?
He played 6 plays.
No, the Philly game this year.
It was huge. We're talking playoffs, though. If
I see what you're saying.
We're going to move the goalposts. Goff has played. Goff outdueled Mahomes on Monday Night Football, 54-51.
That was
if we want to bring up regular season games, Goff has a slew of regular season games to where he's balled out.
I'm just trying to defend Brock Purdy on this. Like, he hasn't shown up for big games.
No, it's not that. It's Baldy just said, who do you trust more in a big game? And he's trusted Goff more because he's been there before. Now, I trust Brock Purdy, but I may trust Goff a little bit more. Now, in this game, it's a different matchup. They're not playing against each other. Goff has to go against his Niners defense. Purdy has to go against that Lions defense.
For sure.
So,
for sure.
All I said was I trust Goff a little bit more. And I got a lot of heat last week for saying that. A lot of heat. But it was based off of experience in the playoffs.
I wonder what Niner fans, because I know that we're going to be more skewed toward Brock Purdy and what he's done this year. Dude, he was outstanding this year. And he's coming off maybe his worst performance, but he did, nail it down in the fourth quarter. And I haven't really now Jared Goff threw a beautiful pass. They were up a touchdown late and then put them away. That was a championship drive. He was from behind, Brock Purdy, in a game where he was struggling in. I think that, I think his mental toughness I can't overlook. It's very admirable to be able to shake off everything he did for 3 quarters and play the way he did.
I hope I'm not sitting here trying to slander Brock Purdy because
I think you're being fair.
It's just he played.
You're
well
trying
in
to
the
lay
fourth
out
quarter.
the argument.
I'm just calling it like it is. And if you don't like it, then.
But I wonder where Niner fans are at because I think most Niner fans like myself are going to dismiss Goff, and we're probably too dismissive.
Well, they did dismiss Goff all year. The Lions all season long. I remember somebody brought it up yesterday. Said, Bonte, you said this week 3 that the Lions, you bet not sleep on them. Because we laugh at them. We laugh at Dan Campbell. We think Jared Goff is a bum because we seen him fail with the Rams and we watched him at Cal Berkeley not be able to take the Bears to a Pac-12 championship. We laughed at the Lions as a laughing stock. And I'm like, guys, this team is physical, man. And I know Baldy got on me after they beat the Chargers down in L.A. That was a very impressive win to me, to go to SoFi Stadium and to outduel them when the Chargers were playing for something. And to win that game for that team. You talk about culture builders, team builders. They've done it all season long. So, look, all Baldy said was he trusts Goff more in this game than he does Brock Purdy, which is surprising because I think it's surprising from this aspect from you, Shasky. It's because he was on the Purdy trade for a long time.
He was. And he was in part my own self, but he's in part of what has influenced some of my opinions. JT O'Sullivan as well. I'm watching the game with my own eyes. I formulate opinions. Then I watch the game back independent, removing emotion. I'm watching the game back myself. Then I listen to what other people that are really educated in the football X's and O's try to explain. And they're telling me, like, why, reinforcing things that I already kind of believe or making me think about things in a way that I didn't necessarily know. I don't pretend to know every inner working of every single route combination and all that. Like, that's not me. I'm just a dude who has Niner season tickets and wants to see them win the Super Bowl and wants us to have a franchise quarterback to win it all. But when Brian Baldinger, who I believe to be this era's John Madden, is championing you as one of these studs when everyone else is saying, no, you're not, I'm going to listen to him because he knows what he's talking about. He breaks down more film than anyone. So, yeah, when he's a little shaky, and I already felt a little shaky, yeah, that's not a good sign. And I wonder how many 49er fans are out there listening to this right now, either screaming at their radios.
Oh, they're screaming.
Or yelling at us like, you morons, Jared Goff over Brock Purdy. You got to look at it from the other point of view as well.
Well, I laugh at Niner fans when they tell me they'd rather have Brock Purdy over Josh Allen.
Come on.
That happens.
How can you watch what?
I don't even want to go there, but it's just in football, man. I realize having these arguments and talking, you can't please everybody.